to another day of distance learning. Woo! Sorry, it's been a week, so I figured you needed a little bit of a pick-me-up there. So a few different things that you're working on for today. You're going to do your Unit 5 Map Mystery, where you're going to find that, obviously, in this Google Classroom post. You're going to use the information from this map right here. All right, you're going to use that information and make sure you read through it all. You don't have to answer the questions on this, but you're going to be looking at this map and at this information here and here throughout the paper. You're going to be using that to answer the 10 questions on the Edmodo quiz. So make sure that you're doing that. So that's one of your first steps for today. Another step for today, I do want you working on your Unit 5 I Know sheets. This Unit 5 is actually going to be a pretty short unit, so make sure that you're filling things out based on what you've learned so far about early political parties, about George Washington, about his farewell address, about Federalists and Democratic Republicans, and just anything that you can fill out already on your sheet, including this vocabulary, which we're also going to be going over. So, a couple of vocabulary terms that I really want to make certain that you are familiar with for this unit. One is going to be the word cabinet. Now, obviously, you all heard the word cabinet before. However, there are a couple different contexts for the word cabinet. The definition for the one that we're going to be using is a group of officials that advise the president. These would be like the Secretaries of Defense, the Secretary of State, the Secretary of Education, etc. Example number one. You can tell when I wrote these, it was quite a while ago. President-elect Trump, you can actually cross that out. It would now just be President Trump, has to select his cabinet members before he takes office. So now, for example number two, I could say that President-elect Biden is in the process of selecting his cabinet members. So again, in this instance, we're talking about the word cabinet as a group of people who advise the president. Let's go through some non-examples so you know what's not the case. One non-example is the cereal is in the cabinet. Now, it might be in a cabinet in your kitchen. However, for our social studies lesson and for social studies phrases and vocabulary words, that's the incorrect definition for cabinet. So again, obviously there's two. One is like a cupboard, but that's not the one that we're talking about. Non-example number two. If I'm going to go get a drink at my house, I would go to the cabinet. I definitely don't think that I would go to the group of officials that advise the President of the United States. They probably wouldn't know where that is in my house. But again, it's just an incorrect use of the term cabinet for what we're using it for here in social studies for this particular definition. So just be aware of that. The second word, and I've seen lots of kids mess this up over the years because it sounds very similar to another word. The word we're talking about here is precedent. Now, as you probably have guessed, it sounds a lot like president, and I've actually seen kids get this wrong before because they think it is how you actually spell president. It's not. It's the word again, precedent. Definition of precedent. This is an example set that acts as a guide for other people to follow. So, for instance, George Washington, as we discussed earlier this unit, set many precedents by being the first president. So he basically set examples for other people to follow. Example number one. George Washington set the precedent that presidents should only serve for 2 years. I'll give you a second example. A precedent set by George Washington for other presidents to follow is that all would have a cabinet, which is a group of advisors. See how I did that there? I combined both your vocabulary words. What can I say? Non-example. For Christmas this year, Santa will be bringing me lots of precedents. Well, he might bring me lots of presents because I think I'm on the nice list this year, but he's not going to bring me precedents. He's not going to bring me examples set that act for a guide for other people to follow. That just doesn't make any sense. So it's the wrong use of the term precedent. Non-example number two. Who will you vote for the first president? I'm talking, of course, about the word president, which is different than the word precedent. So, again, just wanted to go through some of this stuff with you. Good chance you're going to see both the word cabinet and precedent on your Unit 5 quiz. If you have questions about these, please make sure you message me. I'm happy to give you more examples or just make sure that you have a good understanding of these two terms because, again, they are important not only for this unit but for your social studies knowledge as well. Again, with your map mystery, you're going to find these questions on Edmodo, so make sure you're checking that out and getting that finished. And again, make sure you're looking at these while you do so. When you're finished, please also work on your Unit 5 I Know sheet, as that's going to be a great resource for you. As always, let me know if you have questions or you need help. See you guys.